The Syrian and Iranian sides have started talks in Tehran between Prime Minister al-Assad and Iranian Vice President Mahmoud Rida Rahimi, as well as between specialized ministers from both sides. The talks aim at developing cooperation between the two countries in the economic, trade, financial and services domains, eliminating all obstacles and maintaining coordination between establishments in both countries in order to provide full support for Syria and its people in the face of the aggression it is exposed to. The Russian Foreign Ministry has considered the attempt by a number of countries to refer the Syrian file to the International Criminal Court as being unconstructive, particularly in terms of the most earnest mission at present, namely to immediately halt the bloodshed. In a statement, the Russian Foreign Ministry said the Swiss proposal, taken on behalf of some states, was inappropriate in terms of timing. It pointed out that calls for legal action and the search for the guilty would only lead to stricter stands by the two conflicting parties and further difficulties in looking for a political diplomatic settlement for the crisis in the country. The Russian Foreign Ministry reiterated its call on all the concerned parties to concert efforts in order to contribute to a solution to the crisis on the basis of Security Council resolutions and the Geneva statement. Iran called on Western countries to stop their support of armed terrorist groups which wreak havoc in Syria and its stability. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ramin Mahmoudbrest said at a press conference in Tehran today, stressing that fulfilling the demands of any people has to be achieved through democracy and dialogue. He added that Prime Minister Dr. al-Assad visit to Tehran comes in the framework of developing bilateral relations between the two countries, emphasizing that it is an important visit for the two countries as there are several fields of economic and trade cooperation. On his part, former Russian Foreign Minister Yevgeny Primakov stressed that the practices that seem to be directed towards democracy in Syria have brought about an opposition in the form of internationally extremist Islamist-linked groups. Primakov added that the tragedy in Syria reflects a conflict between the moderate and the extremist trends. He added that the imbalance noticed in the Middle East started with the American invasion of Iraq, when the deadly conflict flared up. What's happening in Syria today is considered one of the latest results of this imbalance, Primakov pointed out. A terrorist group today fired 2 rocket shells from Al-Ramoun area on Aleppo University, causing casualties and material damage. An official source told Sana that the rocket shells caused the death and injury of a number of students on the first day of exams. It added that there were also casualties among displaced people whose areas were affected by the terrorist acts and who are staying at the university dormitory. Within the same context, Sana reporter in Aleppo was informed that terrorists fired 2 rocket shells on Beni Zaid area in the city, causing victims and injuries among the citizens. In Hama suburb, Syrian Arab armed forces have established security in Tibet al-Imam after clearing it of the so-called Jabhat al-Nusra and Ahrar al-Sham brigades. The army also found tunnels that were used by the terrorists in their criminal acts. Explosive devices planted by the terrorists in the village and its surrounding were dismantled. A Syrian army unit today inflicted heavy losses on the armed terrorist groups that tried to attack a military checkpoint in Busr al-Harir village in Dar'a suburbs. Many of the group's members were killed and wounded, and their weapons and ammunition were destroyed. A Syrian army unit has destroyed in a series of operations a number of terrorist hideouts and killed terrorists in Tal al-Dahab in Homs suburbs. A military source said huge losses were inflicted on the terrorists who were either killed or wounded.